What was a time at work where you didn't handle it early on as well as you do now?
So I wrestle with my weaknesses on every shift, right? Like I kind of know what they are. I can sometimes be very impatient with my coworkers. I sometimes will get frustrated when I feel like I know the direction we should go in and I can make recommendations. I can't write orders. I don't want to be able to write orders, but I can make recommendations. And sometimes people will be a little dismissive. So the other night at work, and I'm thinking this will apply nicely. So the other night I'm at work and we have a patient who comes in who was in a traumatic accident. I mean, devastating injuries. And unfortunately, the EMS crew that brought him in, he had passed away prior to arriving at the hospital, and they were actively trying to bring him back to life. So he arrived and we have well-written protocols, and we jumped into line and we were doing what we were doing. And the physician who was in charge of the resuscitation ordered blood. And this patient had been down for a long time. And you're starting to think to yourself, like, all right, I'm going to hang this blood. Are you sure you want to hang this blood? Because I'm going to start infusing it. And when I do, like this, as soon as I open that bag up, it's done. And the physician was kind of like, yeah, hang it. And I was like, are we sure we want to hang this blood? Because if you're going to call this in 2 seconds, then I'm going to open this blood up and this blood is just going to go to waste. And again, a doctor just, no, you're fine. Just, hang the blood. You do it. So I literally open the bag of blood and I go to spike it so we can infuse it to the patient. And they go, hey, this patient's been down for a really long time. We've done all these different things. EMS tried to save them. Unless anybody has any other ideas, then we're going to go ahead and call this. And I was like, I needed to take a minute, right? And center myself because my whole face starts turning red. And, we went through, we have like a whole ritual that we do when a patient passes away to pay respect to their life and the effort that we made. And then I walked out of that room and Patty, I was hot. I was so mad. I was storming down the hallway. And Dr. Alvarez has alluded to these debriefs that we do where we all get together as a team and we talk about what we could have done better and what we could have done worse. And I was walking down the hallway having a Sara debrief in her head where I was like, I can't believe how many people do I have to ask? And then I'm going to spike this blood and you're going to call it before I even give the unit. Oh, I was so mad. And that's something that I wrestle with because sometimes I will argue with myself on the unit or I will drive home still arguing with the physician, wake up arguing with the physician and come back to work, see that physician and be like, man, I have something I need to tell you. But I feel like a growth thing for me is to make sure I do attend the debriefs that our physicians hold. And I find a diplomatic way to say, hey, I just want to remind you about how I asked you 3 times whether or not you wanted this blood before I opened it up. And what upsets me is that somebody donated this blood, laid on a little stretcher for the Red Cross and got their cookies. And they were hoping this was going to go this way. And you didn't give me the opportunity to use this resource the way I wanted to. And actually in that debrief, after I calmed down and talked to the physicians, they were very receptive and were like, okay, yeah, we didn't think about that way. We were just thinking like, what we should do in this situation is give blood, even though they also were thinking, hey, we've already got a really long downtime. I don't know that this patient's going to make it. So that's definitely a moment where routinely I choke and then sometimes I pull myself out of it. Sometimes not so much.